Welcome to the EQ video tip. I'm your host, Eric Forsetter, and as always, thank you again for watching our show. Before we get started, let's review the goals of EQ video tip. What's on tap for today? We have a great show, and it comes to us from Naysayer, who talks to us about how to disagree at work without becoming the naysayer. And we all have moments where we have to disagree and commit, or disagree with someone, or show them that maybe they made a mistake. But how do you do that without being the person who's the Debbie Downer or the naysayer, or something that's going to hurt your image or make you look like you're out to get them? There's so many different ways to do it. Michelle gives us 5 great tips on how to do this. Let's jump into Michelle's tips right now. Tip number 1. Let me ask you a question. Which is more effective? This cake design won't work, or this cake design won't work because its height will make it unstable? The second one, obviously. Why? Because you're explaining what's going on, and you need to explain the why as to your reasoning behind being the naysayer or being someone who's disagreeing. When explaining something, it helps people understand your rationale so that you're not attacking them. You're actually going and trying to help and make the problem a solution, as opposed to, this design's terrible, or I don't like your writing. Better off saying, this design doesn't work, or your writing could improve by doing the following. In those cases, you're helping the person out and explaining your why. Tip number 2, be empathetic. And it's important to remember, with anyone's work, you're critiquing it. That's their baby, that's their project, that's all their effort. So whatever you critique, they're going to take it very personally. How do you be empathetic with it? Offer to help, offer to improve it. Maybe say something like, this is really good work, but I think you can improve it by doing X, Y, and Z. Don't put emojis or other cutesy things whenever you're writing back to someone. Be precise, be clear, and understand what you're talking about. And speaking about being clear and precise, we're going to get to that in the next tip. But remember, be empathetic. Tip number 3, as we mentioned, be clear and concise. Keep your words very short and to the point. Make it something that it's easy for them to understand. When in doubt, run it through Grammarly or some kind of bot to make sure it's something that even a 5th grader could understand, so that they understand you're trying to help them out. Don't be cutesy, don't add extra words in to make it sound nice, but to the point, clear, concise, to help them understand the root of your thoughts, as well as how you're trying to improve their writing, their project, whatever it is that they're working on. Our next tip, focus on timing. It's important to figure out when is the right and appropriate time to bring up a naysayer comment or something that's going to be critiquing someone. Is it appropriate at all? Is it something in the beginning of the project that will doom the rest of the project, or is it something that's minor and you can let it go because it's going to get us to the result that we want? You need to think about when you want to insert that comment or feedback, as well as is it appropriate to do it. So focus on your timing as well, because there are times that you need to jump in right away, and if that's the case, do it. Other times, hey, the project can go on, and this is a minor detail in a grand scheme of much bigger things. Again, focus on time. Our last tip, beware of the hippo effect. And the hippo effect is the biggest figure in the room. That could be the person who makes the most money, the person who's in charge. Whoever it is, they're going to carry the most clout. And if you're the hippo in the room, you need to let others' opinions come in first before you weigh on yours. Remember that your opinion is going to matter greatly to everyone on the team, and you can outsize and influence someone by accident just because you're that hippo, or that hippo is talking, depending on who he or she is. So take a moment to think about that, because the hippo doesn't always mean that they're the right person or they have the right decisions. So it's important to be aware of it and understand who's the hippo in the room, and are they making the right call? Think about these tips as you move forward. That's a wrap for this week's EQ video tip. Thanks again to Michelle for some great tips. And as always, take these tips, customize them, make them yours in your daily life. I hope you enjoyed them. Come back next time. So that concludes our EQ video tip for today. Try incorporating some of these tips into your daily routine. But remember, use what works best for you and personalize it for yourself. Thank you always to our great research team for providing us with some great tips today. As always on EQ Video Tip, we want to end with gratitude. So thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Here are some resources that you can use if you want more information on EQ going forward. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.